man, what the
We're just gonna have to head out.
What?
Just gotta head out.
I heard that too. Is that what you're talking about? I literally heard that too.
Is your friend?
I'm not gonna lie, he was messing around, but I was fine. Can you stop, bro? It's cool. Is that? I don't know you guys.
Ah, the prankster content creators. Maybe funny for viewers, not as funny for the employees who are just trying to get through their workday.
What the?
Did you hear where the yelling's coming from?
Oh no.
I don't know. I literally heard it too. Yeah, it was like really loud. It actually kind of scared me like quite a bit. Really over here like almost like shivering. It's like, did you hear like what the F?
Yeah,
like, the first time, like I heard like what the F. I literally almost jumped out of my skin. That's how scared I was.
That was pretty scary.
You guys need to go.
What? That was literally not us. I'm telling you right now, that was not us.
From right here.
No, I was
I know that was not us. You really think that was me?
Yes.
That was not us.
We are gonna ask you to leave.
But let this case be a lesson for those who do these types of prank videos or want to do these types of videos, because now this creator could face years in prison.
Yo, everyone, take that tire off. Take that tire off, quick.
I got something for you guys.
Everyone, check the oil. Check the oil.
Can you check that car outside?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, call 911, bro, right there.
I'm kind of scared because I got a warrant. I gotta go.
We're breaking down which prank landed this TikToker behind bars with the very police department who arrested him.
These are laws that are being broken. No matter how small or insignificant it may seem, they are laws being broken that we have to hold people accountable for.
Thanks for joining us on Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Millner. Police are taking this case very seriously. Although no one thankfully was hurt or killed, Heston Cobb, or as you may know him online by Heston James, could still land himself in prison.
Yeah, I just grew up on electric. I'm just comfortable with electric. So.
Yeah, I like electric too, honestly. And how much are those running for nowadays?
And it just depends on the brand and all the bells and whistles that you might want.
Oh, okay, yeah, so those do get up there.
Hi.
How's it going?
You're talking to me on the phone. You're right there.
You? Was I talking to you?
You're talking to me.
Heston James is no stranger to viral attention.
I'm just going to be bringing in all my guys because you guys have been doing a really slow job. I've been getting multiple complaints. I'm from corporate, I told you. So this one, I'm calling in my guys and they're going to be working on all these cars. They're not? Get to calling them. Oh, get to calling them? All right, let's see. Here they are here. I think this is them right here. Come on, come on, come on, everyone, come on, come on, come on. Everyone, get to work. Everyone, get to work. Everyone. Yo, everyone, take that tire off. Take that tire off, quick.
I got something for you guys.
Everyone, check the oil. Check the oil. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. Everyone, get under there. Get under there. Nice. Well done.
Get out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nice. Nice. Good job, everyone. Good. All right.
I can't do cheaper than 1,000 for the catalytic. I'm telling you, it's leaking oil.
He has 1.2 million followers on Instagram. It's been reported before his TikTok account was deleted, he had 1.6 million followers on that account. And he still has tens of thousands of subscribers on YouTube alone. But what landed him on the radar of the Tempe Police Department, causing them to post this video?
Your personal sites have been lacking, so I'm here to make sure you guys are staying in check. Get out my store. So I'm gonna clean house. Go ahead and bring in the guys. Call the police. What is going on? No,
You guys need to leave.
these are my workers. No, these are my workers. These are my workers. No, you have to let get out of my store. Mom, I need everyone. Doing a great job, sir.
It's because he faces charges including 5 counts of criminal trespass, 5 counts of disorderly conduct, 2 counts of criminal impersonation, and 1 count of burglary in the 3rd degree. So the disorderly conduct and criminal trespass charges are reportedly misdemeanors, but the criminal impersonation and burglary charge are felonies. Now, how does some silly social media video equal 13 charges? The Tempe Police Department says between March and July of this year, a bunch of businesses reported instances of a group of men coming into their stores dressed like employees. Then the pranksters began disrupting their businesses altogether. They would allegedly enter the employee-only areas, they would refuse to leave, and one of the men, who was ID'd as the leader, began instructing the others to get to work. And maybe you can guess who the leader was.
Go ahead and bring in the guys. Call the police. What is going on? No,
No, you guys need to leave.
And there's another thing. Police say these acts were posted online and got millions of views, meaning he potentially generated a lot of money too. The pranksters hit spots like Chipotle, Jiffy Lube, Highland Auto Repair, Pep Boys, and Big Brand Tire and Service. Plus, when you prank a lot of businesses and employees call the cops and the pranksters post their, well, pranks online, the evidence is all right there, right? So Heston was arrested on July 23rd and released on bond on July 25th. But it seems like he's taking his charges pretty seriously because now he's raising money for a lawyer by selling free Heston t-shirts for $34.99 each. I want to give a big shout out to Odoo for sponsoring today's Law&Crime YouTube takeover. Odoo is an incredible all-in-one business management software that provides you a range of accounting, manufacturing, and sales applications. To grow a successful business, it's important to stay focused on the creative vision that matters and not get bogged down by things like invoicing and balancing the books. That's where Odoo comes in. They are a one-stop shop game changer that gives users a clean, modern dashboard designed to provide you all your business needs. Take Odoo's accounting tool. It utilizes smart AI to check bank balances, cash flow, vendor bills, and invoices all in one place. Or need help with manufacturing? Odoo's apps can actually sync your inventory to purchases and keep everything running smoothly in just a few clicks. From the assembly line to the sale, Odoo's easy-to-use software helps you manage it all. Right now, you can get a free 15-day trial of Odoo's all-in-one business solution to get your business the cutting edge. Check it out at www.odoo.com/takeover. I'm joined now by Public Information Officer with the Tempe Police Department. That's Officer Jessica Els. Thank you so much for joining me. Can you talk to me a little bit about how Heston Cobb's arrest came to be?
Yeah, so we were actually made aware of this in the beginning of July when we had multiple calls for services from different businesses about someone coming in, and it actually came in as a burglary call. So the business thought that they were being robbed by this group coming in. So it actually used a lot of police resources to come in. We didn't find Heston at that time, but we set up perimeters. So a lot of effort went into locating the subject after this incident. So from that point, actually one of our sergeants was able to put together, like, this looks very familiar to prank videos that she had seen online. So that kind of clued us into, okay, maybe we need to look down that route. So that's kind of how the whole investigation started.
And I know that you guys have named some businesses that have been affected, like Chipotle and Pep Boys, Jiffy Lube. But how many businesses overall, if you have a number, have been disrupted by Heston's pranks?
It's hard to give an actual number because there are many businesses outside of our jurisdiction. So there was a big Target video that went viral as well. Most people have seen the Target video. That was outside of our jurisdiction. So there is a good handful, I'd say maybe 20 or more businesses throughout Arizona that were disruptive. Some not to the level of a criminal charge, but just to a disruptive charge at least.
And talk to me a little bit about those charges. You have burglary, criminal impersonation, disorderly conduct, and criminal trespass. Why those specific charges? I know you touched base a little bit about the burglary charge, but why those other specific charges too?
Yeah, so they're actually the criminal information or criminal impersonation charge has to deal with someone who is assuming the identity of an employee or a representative in order to gain access to the business. So that really fits to a T with what he was trying to do. He was coming in acting as a district manager or supervisor so that he could come into these businesses and get to employee only areas. Specifically with the Chipotle, he was trying to get behind into the kitchen. So that really fit exactly with what he was doing. Then when we get into disorderly conduct, it seriously disrupted these businesses. There were customers in the business. There were people trying to either buy food at the Chipotle or having their car serviced, and they had to stop business to deal with the situation. So that's where we get the disorderly conduct. And obviously the trespass is he was asked by multiple people multiple times to leave, and he did not. So when you are asked and you do not leave the premises, you are now trespassing.
And it seems like there was a lot of kind of organization and planning, because there were more than just Heston kind of doing these types of pranks. In terms of just him organizing this and kind of bringing in other people too, do those other people who are participating in these prank videos, could they possibly face charges too?
It's something we're definitely looking into. Being able to pinpoint who is involved is much harder, right? Because we're only seeing these people on for fractions of seconds. So it is definitely something we're going to look into, though, because they are associated and they are participating in these criminal acts.
And during his arrest, that we've seen his mugshot photo. He seems kind of remorseful in the mugshot, but did he seem remorseful when he was being arrested, or did he seem that he wasn't caring very much? Did he seem surprised that he even was arrested? What was his demeanor during the arrest portion?
He was shocked. So that was the word that was said to me. He was very shocked, and he did request a lawyer. So our detectives were not able to speak with him further about the why behind it. It was just kind of that look of, oh, this got me in trouble sort of thing.
Oh, and that makes a lot of sense too, because I even have seen online that he is now selling t-shirts in order to hopefully pay for his attorney too. And it seems like, we're in the digital age. There are a lot of content creators, digital creators, and some are going for that prank route for views, for money. What's your message to them in the wake of Heston James's arrest?
The biggest message is that these are crimes. So this is actually the second big influencer type arrest that's happened within the Valley. In a neighboring jurisdiction of Mesa, Arizona, they arrested another influencer type person for spraying bug spray on produce. So he ended up getting arrested and he got a year sentence for that. So now we have Heston James, who's just been arrested and is facing a multitude of charges that could result, I've seen, potentially up to 9 years, depending on what a judge decides if he is convicted. So really the message we have is to think before you act. You really, I mean, pranks can seem fun. They can seem like a fun thing to do, but you have to be careful because you could be breaking a law if you are disrupting these businesses, disrupting other people, disturbing their peace. So you really have to think.
Yeah, and I remember a social media video that I believe happened in Texas. Somebody was licking ice cream for views and then ended up also getting arrested and charged in that case too. So I think some people don't realize there are consequences to their actions just because you're trying to make some funny type of video for your views, for your followers, all that stuff doesn't mean there aren't consequences kind of waiting on the other side. And I had a question too for the Tempe Police Department. What do you say to critics who are like, why is he being arrested? He didn't hurt anyone. I don't understand why he's facing these serious charges. What do you say to critics who kind of are like, why is he even being arrested? No one was hurt in these situations.
So it is our job as a police department to uphold the laws. And as we've explained, these are laws that are being broken. No matter how small or insignificant it may seem, they are laws being broken that we have to hold people accountable for. A lot of times you think about a traffic citation. Oh, it might not seem like a big deal, but that's part of our job. We do traffic stops and people get tickets for that. It goes along the same lines. It might not seem like someone's being assaulted or physically hurt, but you don't need to be physically hurt in order to be hurting a business or affecting a business. So that is why we just tell these, our critics out there that this is part of our job, no matter how small it may seem.
And maybe this case will have some content creators thinking twice before they post or before they disrupt somebody's business. Well, Officer Jessica Els, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Okay, so we just heard from the Tempe Police Department, but let's get the legal take. I'm joined now by criminal defense attorney Serena Townsend. And Serena, Heston Cobb, aka Heston James, is charged with burglary, criminal impersonation, trespassing. What do you make of these charges, and do you think that they'll hold up in court, or possibly some could get dismissed down the line?
That's a really good question. I think that he must have just taken it too far and annoyed too many people, and somebody just felt like, all right, it's time to put a stop to this. Do I think he needs to be saddled with a criminal record? Maybe not. Personally, I think the burglary might be an overcharge. With a charge like that, I do think what he was doing was more akin to a trespass. He was going in somewhere where he shouldn't be. A burglary requires kind of trespass plus. Burglary requires that, you entered or remain somewhere unlawfully with the intent to commit a crime. The intent to commit a crime might be a little bit of a stretch. You could see that they tagged on criminal impersonation charges, which is what they're going to claim that crime was. I think it's a little aggressive, but yeah, I think some of those charges might stick.
And it's interesting you brought up the burglary charge, because when I was talking with the public information officer from the Tempe Police Department, they were saying that the call initially came because it was a burglary call. And I thought that was pretty interesting, given that, for these employees, they were probably just starting their normal day at work. And then all of a sudden, this massive crowd of people come in. They're messing with cars. They're in Chipotle. They're doing all these different types of things. And it's been reported that he could face, on the long end, up to 9 years in prison. But do you actually see that being a possibility?
I don't think he's going to end up going to prison for that amount of time, if at all. I agree that burglary charge does carry that, longer sentence. People sometimes think burglary can only happen in a home, but there is a lower level burglary charge where it could be in a non-residential situation such as this. Look, I think these workers were, nervous. None of these people own the business. They don't want to have repercussions if they take no action, and they don't want, potential lawsuits to come their way if, like, the food is tainted, for example, by these people. There's just a lot of things to consider, and I don't blame them for being nervous or scared when all these people stormed their businesses, and they needed to put a stop to it somehow.
Yeah, and it's different when it's maybe just like kind of one knucklehead versus like a whole massive swarm of like 20 somethings, or maybe younger, maybe older, who knows. But I can only imagine just trying to get through your day. I've worked retail. I know what it's like. Last thing I would need during my shift is someone trying to prank me, all for views and all of that stuff. But, on the other end, I do find myself sometimes, watching these prank videos on TikTok and, I can understand the frustration it can be for employees. But do you see that it's a possibility that more charges for other content creators could come down the line to kind of put a stop to this? I know some people may think it's harmless because no one got hurt, no one got killed, thankfully. But, we've seen this type of stuff before. Like, for example, I remember a few years back, there was a content creator who locked herself up into Target, another content creator who went to a grocery store and started licking ice cream. Like, there's consequences to their actions. Just because you think it's funny doesn't mean that it's not criminal at the same time.
Agreed. And I think this opens the door to that possibility that if people don't take the hint, maybe they're trying to use this kid as an example and see if it helps stop these kinds of dangerous pranks. But, you never know. Every case is unique. Every case has its own level of criminality or not. The thing is, with these kinds of cases, the actual perpetrators, or the alleged perpetrators, are creating the evidence themselves and posting them online. So the truth of the matter is, if you are committing a crime and then posting it, publicizing it, you're just making it that much easier to be prosecuted.
Oh yeah, very easy, especially when you leave the videos up, you have millions of followers. I mean, the evidence literally is just right there. And I'm curious to know, it's been reported that prosecutors are even considering harsher penalties because it was repeated pranks. When I heard from the Tempe Police Department, they were saying it crossed different jurisdictions, but also that he made likely a lot of money from these videos. What are your thoughts on just the revenue it possibly generated while he was allegedly doing these crimes?
It is possible that he made a nice chunk of cash because of all of those views and, potential sponsorships. So in my mind, it's like he's got to weigh the pros and cons. Making all of that money, is it worth walking away with a criminal record? I don't think it is. But yeah, look, a lot of prosecutions, especially these types of prosecutions, have to do with the appetite of the DA or the prosecutor themselves. And so somebody might look at this and say, yeah, technically it checks the boxes of a crime, but we're not interested in pursuing it that aggressively. Whereas, as you're mentioning with the Tempe Police Department, it does sound like, they really feel the need to crack down, make an example, just to stop this from happening over and over and over again. Maybe if it happens one time, they don't go full force, but it does look like they're fed up at this point.
Yeah, and I think the number that they gave me was around at least 20, possibly on the minimum side. So it's not like it was a one and done type of situation. This was going on for a long period of time. Now, you're a criminal defense attorney. Say Heston James, or Heston Cobb, I should say, is your client. What kind of case are you going to be making for him?
This is a type of situation where you go to the prosecutor and you say, look, this guy is not a criminal. He's maybe very annoying and he did stuff that pissed people off. But do we have to saddle some young kid with a criminal record? He's learned his lesson. Let him do community service. What I would probably try to negotiate is like a repleader plea, which basically means he'll take a plea for now to hold over his head. But if he promises to complete a certain type of program and community service where it shows that he is rehabilitated and learns his lesson, let him then take a lower, violation or a non-criminal disposition so that he doesn't have to live with this for the rest of his life. And that's kind of how I would play it with the prosecution and say, like, look, this, let's correct the behavior, but not punish him for the rest of his life.
And I mean, I think he's only like 21 years old. So having a criminal record all because you were doing these silly prank videos. I mean, silly to us maybe, but maybe a little more serious and annoying for the businesses. And in terms of, a lawyer and hiring a lawyer, Heston James has been selling t-shirts in order to hopefully pay for his attorney. Do you think that's kind of a good look? What are your thoughts on just the whole merch selling that show his mugshot, and they're for $34.99, I believe, too?
You know what? It is creative, and he does seem like a creative kid, right? Like, he's in trouble now, but what he's been doing, even with the pranking, is annoying but creative, right? I'm not necessarily upset that he's fundraising for his attorney. I actually do think it's very important to choose your attorney wisely, and to have the ability to choose that attorney by having the amount of funds that you need to pick that attorney is important. You have to, I think it's a good thing for him to do that. But on the flip side, yes, if the content of the t-shirts and the merch is kind of making light of the situation or making fun of the situation, I do think he's wading into dangerous waters with that, because then a prosecutor might be less likely or less willing to give him that lower sentence or give him a break and say, like, look, he obviously doesn't think this is serious. He's obviously not remorseful for what he did. He's making light of it. So he does have to be careful with respect to what he is saying on those t-shirts and other merch.
And what he's doing online for views and all of that stuff too. Well, Serena Townsend, I want to thank you so much for your insight. You might be getting a call possibly from Heston James to see if he can represent you. But
listen, I'll sell that merch.
There we go. There we go. Again, Serena, thank you so much for your time and your insight. I'll be anxious to see kind of where this case goes and how it develops from here. But again, thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me.
And online records show Heston Cobb's next court hearing was August 1st. Thanks so much for joining us here on Law and Crime. I'm Elizabeth Millner.